Hey crafty friends, Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm making a card with the parameters from Craft Roulette episode 292. This card moves and it's a shaker. We're going to have tons of fun with this one using a die set from Scrap Diva Designs. Let's jump in. It is time for another Craft Roulette process video, this time for episode 292, which aired on November 11th, and the guest was Trace Calvert. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name properly, but she's at Lost in Paper on YouTube, and she's from Australia, has the most beautiful accent, gorgeous videos. You've got to check her out. So the parameters, let's talk about what the wheel selected for us to create with a little challenge. It's a good one. I like it. And I'm going to try to make a Christmas card today. So the project would be an encouragement card. And in the episode, Mary said, you can have an encouraging sentiment and still have it be a Christmas card. So I'm going to try to include the word hope in my sentiment because I feel like that's encouraging. Yeah. Colors should be sophisticated. I'm going to try to go with white and gold and some red. That's my thought process so far. So we'll see how we do. White and gold. Okay. And then the element we need to include is a house pet. So I'm going to do a little dog in a stocking. And then randomly, please include some thread or twine. I'm going to tie a little tag on my pooch in the stocking and have it be, tied on with thread. So that's my thoughts. And then shaker, I always like to make my Craft Roulette card a shaker. So I'm going to try to have this area of the fireplace be a shaker. I have an idea for that. Let me show you the things I'm going to use to create this. This was my first thought about Christmas and a pet. Getting a little dog for Christmas, a little puppy for Christmas, and it's in a stocking. So the one thing I'm worried about is the scale of this fitting the scale of this. So we'll see if it works out, but this is my thought process. So I'm going to share with you, even if it turns out to be something different. So that's what we have here, this little lawn fawn set. I have not yet used it. And look at the sentiment. Hope it's positively great. Now this is Merry Xmas, which I don't really like that, especially for a sophisticated color palette. So I'm going to try to find a different Merry Christmas. And then look at these tiny little things that I can use for a tag. Happy Holidays. That's what I think I'm going to use right there for the tiny tag. So I've got that. And then for my fireplace, I have this Fireplace mini album die set from Scrap Diva Designs. Now, I have not yet used it. I've not turned it into a mini album, but the size of this piece right here is roughly 4 inches by 5 1/4. So this is going to fit on the front of an A2 size card. So I'm going to go with that. And here you can see we've got the fireplace, the bricks, the logs. These are little lights. There's another piece for the fireplace that you can layer up. So it's a little more decorative, I guess. Like I said, I haven't played with it yet, so I got to play with it. Accent pieces for the mantle, so you can make it pop. This is what I want to put on mine in gold, the Mary. And then they've got these decorative trees that I thought would be really cute, like with some glitter paper. There's other stockings, so I'm thinking about putting the little stocking here. There's sparkles, and then you've got some little ornaments that could be like garland. Ooh. What is this piece? Oh, make a little banner or something. Here's the lights you can hang on there. So lots of fun. I just die cut out a couple pieces to kind of play with it and see that's kind of big. But I figure if you have a whole dog in a stocking, that stocking is going to be like the big one on the fireplace compared to everybody else's, right? Okay. I think we're going to start out with my background, which is going to be like my wallpaper. So I'm going to pull out, I think, a stamp to stamp this. I'm deciding between two stripes or something a little more busy and festive. I can't decide. One thing I wanted to say about this fireplace die set is that this does create a mini album, but you don't have to use the fireplace. You could put anything on this mini album. It's A2 size. You've got the 2 layering pieces to make your pages. Anything under the sun. I love that. Okay, so what I'm going to do for my background is not stamp it, actually. I'm going to die cut this panel out right here, which cuts out some bricks. Now you can use the bricks or you can use the negative space that the bricks leave behind, which is what I'm going to do. And then I also have another fireplace piece that I'll save and use on this card as well. So I'm going to just pop out all of those pieces, and you can see I already have one in my little tray there, which is what gave me the idea for the background that I'm going to do. I did stamp it and I didn't like it. So I'm saving that for another time, and I wanted to get that brick texture on my paper. So I'm going to use this as a stencil. I got it lined up and I realized that I'm going to need something on the back, sprayed on the back to hold this down. Taping it down, it still was a little bit warped because it is paper. It's more lightweight, it's bendier than a stencil. So I took my pixie spray, sprayed the back of that, and now I'll use the tape to hold it where I want it on my paper. So that's what I did. And then I'm going to stencil this with some Snowfall grit paste because it's like glittery and shiny and so pretty. But I'm doing, you know, that sophisticated look and those colors. I'm doing that so that I have the white on white, a tone on tone look, which I feel is a little bit more sophisticated than maybe like red brick. So that's my thought process there. And this is pretty loose as far as paste goes. So I'm just trying to be really careful, get it in all the spots, not let it sit on that paper too long so it doesn't like glue the two together. Because it is paper and that is very liquidy. So there we have our brick. We need to let that dry. And I'm going to do like a bunch of other things while that dries. First is figure out the size of paper I need to create my shaker that's going to go behind here. I have this very light gray piece of cardstock. I just cut it into like a square that's going to go behind there. And then I am going to adhere this second piece right on top. And that's going to give me like gray bricks with white grout type of look. So I thought that would be pretty cool, but also a really subtle gray. So we're not really adding a whole nother color scheme here, but just, you know, giving a touch of maybe some realism to this. And it's a little bit different than what we have going on for like the back or like the chimney section, because this one's been, you know, had fire on it. So I don't know. It looks good. I like it. I'm going with it. I have a piece of packaging here that I'm using for my shaker. Now, this one was super flat, so I decided to use the two sides that were already sealed and keep the other side, you know, open. But I'm just going to fold this over and tape it in place, and that's going to create my full panel edge to edge shaker because the fireplace has no bottom as it normally would. There is a piece you can add to make the hearth of your fireplace, but you'll see why I'm doing it this way in the end. Okay, so I added some sparkles I had left over from a kit, and I thought this is going to be like the magic of, you know, Santa going up the chimney, which thinking of this looking like the magic of Santa going up the chimney really took my card in a new direction. And some of the things I showed you at the beginning are not going to be the things. But I am continuing to use this amazing fireplace mini album die set from Scrap Diva Designs, and those are like the little extras. Speaking of extra, look at this paper. The mist, it's missed something from Your Paper Insider, box number 11, I believe. It is so good, and it's what I used for like the accents on the stocking. It looks like fabric, but it's shimmery. It's so good. Okay, this set that I'm bringing in is called Tiny Santa. It's from Trinity Stamps, and it's just that. It makes a tiny Santa, and this tiny Santa is going to be the thing that adds to this card that was inspired by my shaker. So we're going to have just the bottom of Santa showing as he's like last minute going up the chimney. And so all I need is this coat with the white trim. I'll add on his legs and his boots. That's really all we need because it's just really the very bottom edge that's showing. But this is like the fun little part of my card, I think. And he does, I think, fit pretty well on here, like scale wise. Yeah, and there's two parts to the boot here. That's what I'm showing you here. So like the toe of the boot is going to be a little bit more accentuated because you have that second layer, and I love that look. It really looks more 3D that way. So, but there's all the fixings in there to make a whole Santa, his face and everything, but this is all I need for this card. So, all right, I let this dry for a really long time, and it looks fabulous. Love it. All right, so now we're ready to attach Santa. I'm going to use the Snap and Slide from Pear Blossom Press. It's a snap made for moving cards, and I'm going to have this be attached to the fireplace and attached to the card. Santa's going to be in the middle and be allowed to swing back and forth. Now, it was probably like a few years ago, there was a die set from Spellbinders that was a fireplace with a Santa like this. So that's probably where the idea was, like subliminally in the back of my mind, but I certainly wasn't thinking of it when I made this card. But I later, when I was making it, I was thinking, I have made a card like this before. So yeah, you might even have stuff in your stash. You could create this look. But I will have the things I use linked for you below, so if you want to check them out, you can. So I'm just figuring out placement for my little Santa. I had to poke a little, or punch a little bit bigger hole for the snap so he would move around. And then I'm taking these glue dots, which I just found at the Dollar Tree. They're so good, so sticky, and they fit that snap perfectly. So I'm going to just lay the chimney on top of that. Now there's two parts to the, actually it's a fireplace. There's two parts to the fireplace, and I think I probably should have put him in between the two layers. I don't know. If you have a strong feeling about this part, let me know, but I think he's okay here. There's a straight part of the fireplace, and then there's that other piece in the upper left that you lay over the top and layer it. It just looks so cool, layered like that. And I'm wondering, should I have put Santa in between those two layers? You let me know what you think. All right, so then we have this piece right here, which is the mantle. I love that little extra touch of detail right there. This piece, where in the very beginning of the video, I thought you might use it to create a banner, which you could, is a detail piece that goes right here like that. Isn't that magical? I love it. And then this piece is the hearth. I did double that up because my chimney I put down with 2 layers of foam. It's quite a fat card, and I love fat cards. So, you know, you got to put a little extra postage on it, or you put it in with a package that you're mailing, or you hand deliver it. It's one of those special cards when you have it in your brain, you have to make it. So I'm going to figure out a way to get it delivered. But let's be honest, it could be one of those cards that sits in my stamp room and looks cute. It could be that. All right, so I colored up my flames with my alcohol markers. I am using Olo markers, and they look super good. I love the red to orange to yellow look, but also I'm going to try to build a very small fire because we do not want this card to be Nightmare Before Christmas, right? We don't want to burn Santa. So we're going to just have this like really low fire. And this is what I was thinking. Santa's going up the chimney, and he must have bumped the little switch that turns on the fire, because that's how the fire in my house works. I got a little switch to turn it on. I'm not putting wood in there. It's a gas deal. So maybe this is one of those. And he bumped it, and he's like, trying to hurry up the chimney. Yeah, that's the story I'm going with for this card. Sorry if you can hear the sirens in the background, but it is not The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's not what this card's about. So now I'm adding that mantle, which I did double up to make it nice and strong. And now that's the hearth. Now we're going to decorate the mantle. I die cut the word Mary from the same die set with some gold metallic paper. It's really cardstock. It's quite thick, which is good because the top half of it is not adhered down to the card at all. And I love the little extra strip on the edge. And this reminded me of those stocking hangers that you can get. So I thought, let's hang our stockings from the word Mary. I love it. And I love the stockings that come with this so much. I am not using that stocking with the dog in it, but I do have this little set. I don't remember the name of it. It's like Carnival, the fair. It's from Lawn Fawn, as you can see, and it has these little critters that can go in that Ferris wheel. Maybe that's the name of it. Yeah, and there's a cat. So not only am I not using that original die set with the dog in the stocking, I'm using it and I'm making a cat. I'm doing the cat because the other one was like a frog and a bear. And remember, our parameter is household pet. So we got to go with the cat. It's going to be cute. There are a lot of cat fans, cat lovers, cat owners who watch the craft roulette episodes. So this is for y'all, little kitty. Plus my daughter loves cats. She has one, and so this would make her happy too, the little kitty. I used to have cats, but now I have dogs, and I love my puppies. I'm not gonna lie, it's a circus with the two dogs here. And if you have two dogs, you know what I'm talking about. It's a circus. Yeah. All right, so now let's accentuate our black, decorative, sophisticated trees. We're gonna put some Distress Oxide ink on the edge in Lost Shadow. Just dust it up, make it look a little, home decor like. And then once I get the three done, which there's a small, medium, and large of these trees, I am going to do my favorite thing. Do you know what it is? I'm sure if you've watched my channel before, you know what I'm about to do. Splatter. I splattered so much I still had paint left on here. So I did that, but I had to water it down, and it had already been watered down. So the splatters here are going to be really subtle, which I don't hate. I like it, but I realized as they dried that they were really subtle. So I picked up a little bit more paint, right there. And then I have lighter snow on there and more bright snow on there. So yummy. I love them. Okay, so these are going to get glued on, and they will actually be on the card base itself. So I've got different layers on my mantle. I love dimension on my cards. Dimension is life. And having stuff that's closer, stuff that's farther, makes me so happy. All right, another Lawn Fawn set, Ho Ho Holidays. This says, may your holidays be filled with magic. Don't you find that encouraging? Okay, maybe I've got my stretchy pants on for that one, but I found it encouraging. And this sentiment is going to be stamped on black cardstock with clear ink and embossed with gold embossing powder, because I really needed to repeat that element of gold that's going on in my card. So if you ever have like this thing on your card that you're like, I love it, but it doesn't seem to go, oftentimes you just need to repeat that element. So I'm repeating the gold on my sentiment and the black. I felt like I needed those just repeated on this card to really like make it work, make everything flow together. Yeah, so you can see I'm using a little mint tape to hold my sentiment down, cutting it with my paper trimmer, and then I am putting on two kinds of adhesive, the double-sided adhesive tape as well as liquid glue, because this is going over those bricks that have the texture paste on them. So when I was picking out the kitty, the sentiment, may your holidays be filled with magic, there was also a plate of cookies and a glass of milk in that set, and I was like, you gotta have that on the mantle, right? So I popped those up and added them in front of the trees, and I thought it's like the perfect finishing touch for this sophisticated card, right? And the fun does not stop here. No, because why? There's this huge empty piece of paper right here. So I made a second fireplace, but the brick I left open. I didn't put anything behind it. This is going to be very flat and create a pocket for my gift card. You'll see in just a sec. I added a second fire. This one's going to be a little bit more higher of a flame because I had extras. So I'm using that. It's going to work. But look at this gift card I found. It's a kitty by a fireplace. Yeah, I went to go get something else at the Starbucks, some used coffee grounds for an art project for my kiddo. And yeah, I was like, I'm going to have to take that one home with me. So I also added a second layer of that rounded corner panel from the Fireplace mini album die set, because the front of this card is very fat. It's very heavy. So I wanted to stabilize it by adding that panel on the inside and make it sturdy on both sides. And it's pretty magical. We've got the mover, we got the shaker, but you know what we don't have? Thread. I literally was all done with this video. I was editing this video, about to do the voiceover that you're listening to right now, and I was like, heaven's sake, I forgot the thread. So I pulled out my string thread that I have right here, and I tied a little tiny bow, and I'm going to stick it on the stocking with the cat. So I'm not kicked out. I don't need Deputy Heidi coming after me for forgetting a whole parameter. So I got that on there, and I was much happier with it. But you might see some of my pictures of this card, and it does not have any thread. But I did go back, I did add it, and I hit all the parameters. Sophisticated colors, a house pet. I have a sentiment that's encouraging. And what else? A house pet, a string. Yeah, see how I am forgetting the string again? If you're confused about some of the things I'm talking about in this video, you have got to go check out Craft Roulette every Friday night on YouTube. It's live. Just search the word Craft Roulette. It'll come up. You can play along and make a card. You don't have to do a process video like me, but you can take a picture, submit it, be entered into prizes, and come check out our culture. All these things I'm talking about, like Deputy Heidi and all the things. You'll understand when you're there watching. I'll be there as often as I can be in the chatterbox, and I'll be looking for you. So come join us on Craft Roulette. I'll have the episode I was inspired by linked for you in the description box below, and I'll see you all again very soon with a new paper crafting video. Bye!